Okay, so we adjusted the umbrella, or the trim of the umbrella, and we're going to paint it in, and you'll see it more, you'll see the adjustment once we start painting. So I have here titanium buff and titanium white. I'm going to mix them. Or actually, before you mix, let's put just titanium buff before doing any mixing. Because this way, if I put titanium buff, if I want to highlight and create a movement of the wind on the on this part of the umbrella, I will have a bit of a dark color, which will allow me to add white and highlights. Just a flat brush for now. We're just kind of covering. We're covering the brown underneath, and make it more movement, like moving. Don't make it one straight line. It's like moving with the wind. Just a bit of movement of the wind. This is the first layer. I'll wait for it to dry and I'll add another layer. I'm going to stop for now. Okay, so now I have 2 layers of the titanium buff. Now I'm going to take white. We don't need a lot of movement and detail over on this side, on top for the umbrella, just a bit. So I'm going to add white to the titanium buff and try to give the umbrella, or this part of the umbrella, a bit of movement. So if it's kind of moving with the wind, you will see a bit of highlights here and there on this umbrella. So it will be over on this side. You can put one here. It won't show too much because we're not really kind of working on showing too much of this these highlights. Just a bit, and maybe a little bit like that on an angle, because the fabric is moving just on this, but the rest of the umbrella won't have the same thing. The rest of the umbrella will be just straight color, because this is the only loose part that will kind of be affected by the wind. The paint is lifting a bit because the titanium buff underneath is not 100% dry. On this side as well. Let's take it from here. Put a bit of highlights here. All right, that's enough. I will adjust it once it's dry, completely dry, then I will adjust the colors. But right now it's lifting a bit. So meanwhile, while this is drying, I'm going to work on putting a color on the umbrella itself. So for the umbrella, I'm going to use cobalt blue. Cadmium yellow light, or any blue you have. It doesn't have to be cobalt blue. Any blue you have is fine.
Which yellow is that?
Pardon?
Which yellow is that?
Cadmium yellow light.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to use the titanium buff to get a highlight, give it a highlight. So not white, titanium buff. Because titanium buff it's the same color we're using here, so it will give it kind of a harmony between the other colors I'm putting in there, and it will tone down the color as well. So I'm going to mix these two together, just kind of trying to get an aqua kind of green, but it's kind of a toned down aqua green. And you'll see once I add titanium buff to this color, it will look much nicer. Just want to mix enough in here. Not much, just take the yellow slowly in. Don't take too much yellow with the blue. Yellow takes over. It's very strong, especially because it's cadmium. If it was lemon yellow or another kind of yellow, the pigment is different, but this is a strong pigment. Gonna take titanium buff. I'm just gonna put it in here, and you'll see it's kind of a muted, nice aqua green, and I'm gonna bring in a bit of blue in there. It will dry darker. So I'm going to keep in mind that this is going to dry darker. This is a nice color. Okay, so we can give it a bit of darker blue. Just bring the blue in here into the green I'm putting in there. Just bring a bit of blue and then give this part a bit of a different color in here. It's blue, it's still kind of green, but it's darker green. And soften this. Just to give it a distinction between this part and this part. And then we'll just go back, make sure this is done. Now I can take more of the titanium buff. Let's try. I'm going to try to put a thin line of titanium buff and then a bit of blue after that. So we'll see how it looks. And if it doesn't look good, I can go over it and put just blue. So just another line, thinner line than the one that I created down here at the bottom of titanium buff. A stripe.
You're getting off the page.
I am? Sorry. Thank you. There. Thank you. Yeah, I think, you know, the only reason I'm not sure is just I don't want the umbrella to be too busy at the top, but we'll see how it goes. I'll put the blue next to it before it's completely dry. And before I adjust the stripe. Okay, let's put some blue. I'm going to use the same cobalt blue or whatever blue you're using, and bring the blue into the green that I used, and just take titanium buff, make softer blue, a soft blue. So what I did is I brought the blue into the green I made, the light green, and then I added titanium buff, so the blue is not too strong. Let's see. I just lifted some of the paint in here to create that, and used the brown underneath to get this separation in the umbrella. Yeah, I like the color. It's nice. I go over this and make it lighter, the green, even lighter than this. All right, I'm gonna stop for now. So I need everything to dry, and then we'll come back to it. Okay. Right, another layer of the same colors. This is a layer of the same green kind of, but I added a bit of titanium buff. So tiny bit lighter. And I'm just going to highlight in certain areas. It just gives it a bit of movement, so it's not 100% straight, especially where I see a movement of the line going up and then it goes down. So this just kind of makes it look like it's moving with the wind. But I don't want it to look too much. I don't want too much detail. We're going to work on this detail here more eventually. This is just a suggestion, a little bit of interest. First layer I was working on is dry, so I can put another layer over and adjust my highlights. Okay. All right. Same thing with the titanium buff, just a bit of more titanium buff. And I'm going to highlight this part a little bit. That's just a bit too much highlight right now. Let's soften it a bit. Okay. One more layer for this part. And again, the blue. That's cobalt blue. I'm going to take cobalt blue into this green. Titanium buff. A little bit of titanium buff, not much. Or you can add as much as you want. You can change the color of the blue any way you want. Okay. I'm just going to turn this around for 1 minute. Okay. We're good. There.
Good.
Good up till
Good.
now? All right, good.
Good.
Good. All right, let's see. Shall we try the people?
Why not?
No? Yes? Did I hear yes? No?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Let's try. Before I start recording, I'm going to try and see how it goes, and then we'll take it from there. I'm going to zoom in so you can see. And I added a bit of burnt umber to the colors we have. And I'm going to use a small round brush. So we'll use the same colors we have here, but we'll add just burnt umber. I'm going to take burnt umber and titanium buff. So it's not just burnt umber because they're hazy. They're not, and this is what we want to keep them like that. We want to keep them hazy. Now, it's not easy to do this hazy in acrylics because the paint is dry already. But let's try. So I'm gonna put it's about size and sorry, we have an appointment with the vet at 4:30, so I need to please note. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take burnt umber and titanium buff, and I'm going to start with a very small, or maybe actually here, not the very small one, right here. One person. Okay, that's the head. Then I'm going to take, the head is slightly darker. I'm going to take for the skin tone a little bit more of the titanium buff, and we're just going to do kind of like this. More like a cone shape. Doesn't matter what it looks like, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So it's more like, let me get you something where it's easy for you to see what I'm doing. White, thing like that. I'm going to do this head, then take these are, don't worry about the neck, shoulders, and down like this. Now, if you want to do the hands like arm like this or like that, or just keep the arm in, that's fine. Just a silhouette. That's what we're trying to do. Silhouette. And don't try to put too much detail on it. I mean, this is good. Just like that. It's fine. Okay, so I'm going to change my brush. It's not right. It's not good. Okay. Let me see if this one is good before I start recording. Let's put another one. Just to do this here. Head darker. Then for the rest of the figure, lighter. So adding titanium buff. Down, down. That's it. Really, nothing much, nothing more than this. It's enough. We're going to put some nice highlights on the water. And maybe we could take a little bit of blue. Just like that. Blue with just the blue that I'm using, and put maybe a bathing suit on this one here. Okay, I'm going to start recording. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. Okay, done. So at least the beach is not completely empty. And you can add as many as you like. You want more, add more. I'm going to highlight the sand, give it a bit of movement using titanium buff and a bit of white and water, so it's more like a glaze. It's not thick paint, just kind of a bit of movement in here. It's a glaze, so it's the paint is not thick. Part of the sand that's in the further away, right here, doesn't have to have any kind of texture. It could be just straight color.
You have sort of a dark line between the sand and the water.
Mm-hmm. What's that dark line?
Yeah, should we have that sort of a dark
No,
line between
no.
the sand and water?
No, not necessarily. It just
Okay.
this is just left over from the background color. No, but no, you don't need to. There's no need. It's actually nice to have this bright colored sand against the blue of the sea. All right, so we're done for this week. We'll continue. We'll start working on the chair and the towel next week.